I'm doing a series of videos in conversation with the brands that mean something to me. So when I find products that I absolutely adore, not only do I want to share it with you, but I like to talk to the people behind them. So today I'm speaking with one of the founders of a new Irish skincare brand that I just cannot wait to share with you. Her name is Tracey. Her background is in cosmetic chemistry, and she's from Doctrine Skincare. So Tracey, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mary. It's lovely to be here.
And it's funny because you and I met in a previous life, right? When you were back working
Yeah.
with Skin Trust Club. And there are going to be quite a few people who come to this channel who remember it because I loved it. I made no
Good.
bones about it. I thought it
Yeah.
was brilliant. Quite sad it's no longer with us.
No,
And you and I have spoken a few times. We've met in person but you left and you actually started your own skincare company quite recently.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know what made you do it.
I launched my brand, Doctrine Skincare, back in January, but I suppose this isn't my first rodeo. This is the second brand that I've started, really. I had a brand about 10 years ago when I left college. I started my own skincare brand called Be a Beauty, and I ran that for about 5 years as a small Irish brand. And we were bought by an American company called Codex back in 2018. And I worked for them for a bit. Then I left and I went to work for Skin Trust Club, which is where we met. And then when I left Skin Trust Club, I decided to go back out on my own and start up a skincare company again. Now, when I say on my own, I have two business partners. There's three of us, so we've done it together. But I launched my new brand back in January.
So you have started with two products. We'll get to those in a minute, right? And get in a bit more detail. Okay. But I have to say, I believe there to be certain things that are really important to Doctrine, right? And I'd like to tell you what I think one of them is as a consumer.
Great.
And I'd love for you to tell me if I got it right or not.
Okay,
and it is one of the reasons why I adore these products, right? Is that I think in a world where people are so much on that sort of clean bandwagon, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, people want to present their products. I think a big part of yours is around experience. It's sensorial. Yeah. It's about the way that you actually engage and how you feel when you use the products. And that really hits home for me because I deeply am attracted to the process, right? Because for me, it's not functional. I mean, I know I need to get I need to wash my skin, and I know I need to moisturize my skin. But for me, it's a lot more than that, right? I like to take my time. It's ritualistic. It's merry time. It's a bit of escapism. And that's how I feel when I use these products. It's layered. It's sensorial. It's more than just a really good, effective product. There's sort of this underpin of, I really enjoy it. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm delighted. Yeah, absolutely. Like we'll say that the three pillars of our brand are efficacy, a beautiful luxury sensorial experience, and sustainability. And absolutely, for me, skincare is a ritual. Like I love skincare. I'm also skincare obsessed, and I have always been. Ever since I worked in the industry, I just feel like I really caught the bug, and I love products that make me feel good about using them. I love products that I look forward to using. And especially in terms of sustainability. Exactly. We want people to fall in love with products, use them until the very last drop. So for me, having a product that you love using, you look forward to using, they're the products you're going to use properly. Because also when it comes to skincare, it's about consistency. It's about giving a product a chance to work, using it regularly, you being consistent with it. And if a product is really beautiful and you look forward to using it, then you're going to be more consistent with it. But, also like skincare is a beautiful experience. And I think unfortunately, a little bit of that has been lost over the last couple of years. Like there's the clean kind of marketing side of things. There's the kind of uber natural, questioning every ingredient, cutting loads of things out, whether you need to cut them out or not. And also that kind of like the clinical skincare, that skincare where like fragrance free, all of those kind of trends that have been in the industry. I think they've stripped a bit of joy out of skincare because skincare can be a lot of things. It can be effective, it can be sustainable, but it can also be really beautiful. Gorgeous textures, gorgeous scents, beautiful colors. And you don't have to sacrifice that by being an effective brand or a sustainable brand. You can have all of it.
And I think that's interesting because I think there's a lot of almost fear mongering, right? That, fragrance is bad. And, so the more you take out, and I think that's a really good point. And I understand it. And there's obviously sensitivities, and we might come to that in a minute because I want to talk about a few things in some of the formulations. But I do believe that has it gone too far down the other road? If people have sensitive skin, they have to be very careful. And I know there's a large percentage of people in the world that do have sensitive skin. But there are ways to sort of, you can get a bit of both, right? If the formulations are right. And in your background is cosmetic chemistry. So you are at the forefront of understanding not only how a singular ingredient works, but how it works when it's combined with other things.
So, it's a blanket statement to say I can't use fragrance, because fragrance comes in many formats. It can be fragrance made from essential oils, which absolutely can be incredibly sensitizing. They're natural. So some people would say I can only use natural, but sometimes natural ingredients can be incredibly sensitizing. So you can have fragrance that's meant from essential oils that can be done well or done really badly. You can have synthetic fragrance, but also the world of skincare ingredients is just full of innovation. There's constant new developments. You can have synthetic fragrances that are made from various constituents that have absolutely no sensitivity issues attached to them. But someone will hear perfume, synthetic fragrance, and they will assume that that's not going to be good for me. But the industry changes constantly, and there are so many improvements in ingredients. And again, it's formulation matters. It all comes down to the percentage that you use something at, how you combine things. I think it's great that people understand a lot more about ingredients. That's brilliant. But I also think sometimes a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, because you may understand something about ingredients, but you don't understand everything about ingredients, and you don't understand the kind of nuances and how things interact with each other, and how you can take an ingredient that can be harsh but make it very mild in a formulation. And I think that's a little bit missing, that area of education when it comes to ingredients. It's great that people are interested, but there's a lot more to know, I think, about ingredients than some of the very basic information that's out there.
Well, I think people have degrees in it. I always look at ingredient lists. I go reading up on them to try to understand them, but I know I don't understand them. I mean, I can get a very top line overview and do my best, but sometimes you just have to give things a try. Now, I'm particularly fortunate because I don't have sensitive skin. So for my skin to really interact negatively with something, there has to be something in it that really doesn't do well with my skin. But those things are sort of few and far between. So I'm quite fortunate. It allows me to tinker with a lot of things, but it opens up a world of exploration. And that's really why I have this channel, because this is just stuff I love, trying new things. And that kind of leads me into the products, because I do want to talk about them. They have two products in the range. One is the Divinity Cleansing Balm. And let's start with that. That is this beauty here. And I have to admit, first of all, I love balms. Balms are my first love, and the very beginning of a skincare routine. I just love it for getting all the gunk off, right? Getting all the makeup and all that stuff off. I am a bit of a cleanser floozy, right? I have a lot. And I have probably one or two, the almost holy grail cleansing balms that are always kicking around. I always have backups, that kind of thing. I think this has taken over as number one.
Yay! I'm delighted to hear that.
100%. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because my audience knows too, when I get really excited about something, I just go out and I have to tell them. And a lot of times they're brands that people haven't heard of, or they have, and it's just this little mystery product or whatever. But this is so different. So I want you to give us a little 30-second, intro into this cleanser and tell us a little bit about what makes it special.
Well, I adore a cleansing balm as well. And I think it is a really luxurious step in the skincare routine. So, and there's a lot of beautiful ones out there. So I wanted to make something that was just a little bit different, that would really, stick out for people. So it's bright blue, which you'll notice straight away. We've used spirulina to get that gorgeous blue color. I also wanted it to be an incredible sensory experience. So I've worked really hard on texture. So it's a lovely, soft, kind of buttery balm, but it breaks down to oil immediately on contact with your skin. So it breaks down all that makeup, SPF, everything. And then the minute the water hits it, it emulsifies and it turns to a milk and it runs off. Because I've been disappointed quite a lot with cleansing balms that take a lot of hot water and sometimes even another product to remove them from your face, or a lot of scrubbing with mitts, and that really bothers me. Absolutely. Sometimes they have too much wax in them and there's a drag across your face. I wanted something that was just like silk on the skin, that just spread really easily around the skin. And I suppose when you understand ingredients, you can get that from it. You can get oils that have that lovely long spread. You can get waxes that are very gentle and that dissolve really easy. So really took as much as I kind of knew about these materials to make something that just had that lovely soft feeling, but that would break to milk immediately with water. And then the scent as well. Like I just love scent in skincare. And I know that people will say, oh, I don't care about scent. They'll immediately go like this when they use it. So it's I think it's a beautiful mix of lavender, Palmarosa, yarrow. So like almost like a kind of herbaceous spa-like scent, I think is how I would describe it.
And you said something there, a long spread. And that's
Yeah.
really interesting because you don't realize it until you experience, because I've heard you use that term before, and you don't need a
Yeah.
lot. And it's just amazing the way it moves around the face, because there are so many balms that it's too hard to spread it. And again, if there's too much wax, and this is like, it's just gorgeous. It's just absolutely
Yay,
gorgeous.
I'm delighted to hear that.
So the second product that I honestly have used every single day since I got it, and this is your vitamin C product. So this is called Radiancy. That's genius. Totally didn't get that. And I'll tell you, well, personally, I am such a lover of an oil. And I think it's because of my age. I'm getting older. I'm 53. I just like oils. My skin really likes it. But it's a different kind of oil. It's not an oily oil.
This comes back to oils being long or dry or short. Because I think sometimes people think oils are all the same. They're all greasy. They're all oily. But there's a multitude of different types of oils and lipids out there for cosmetic chemists. So while I've chosen ones in the Balm that are long and that spread, the ones I've chosen for the Radiant C Serum are short and they're dry. So they don't spread really far. They're so short and dry that they immediately sink into the skin. So you're not left with like a very greasy feeling. So it's down to just choosing the right types of ingredients for the right type of product. Really,
it's almost hard to explain to somebody who hasn't used it. So if you don't like oils, it's not going to feel like that. But the delivery is just so nice. My skin is so soft. It's glowy. It's just got that perfect finish, and it layers really well because I'm a product person. So I do a lot of layering. It doesn't pill anywhere. You can put anything under it. You can put anything over it. Sunscreens, makeup. It's beautiful. Yeah. So what else is in this formulation?
Yeah, so the vitamin C itself we've chosen an unusual version of vitamin C. So mostly you'll see things like ascorbic acid in vitamin C products. It's really brightening, it's antioxidant, but it has huge stability issues. It can be a little bit irritant as well. So I've chosen an oil soluble version of vitamin C that it better absorbs into the skin. It has absolutely no problems around sensitivity or stability or anything like that. I suppose it's newish to the industry, but it's a little different from what you'd normally get with a vitamin C ingredient. And for that reason as well, it has a different percentage usage. So we're using 2%. And sometimes when people are used to using an ascorbic acid product, they'll go, oh, that's really low. But it's a completely different material and it has a completely different usage rate. And I suppose that's another thing in skincare ingredients is when people will be used to using a very specific ingredient and they'll know the percentage, they will think that all versions of that ingredient need to have the same percentage to be as effective. But it's not true. Like there's so many different versions of a lot of these active ingredients and we treat them completely differently as cosmetic chemists. Some of them are water soluble, some of them are oil soluble. They like different pHs, they have different usage rates. It's quite complicated. So, it's another thing that's not a blanket issue, really, percentages when it comes to ingredients. It's different. It depends really on the material. It depends on the formulation.
And not only that, I think people mistakenly think that a higher percentage is better. And it actually doesn't work that way either. And it is tricky. This is a difficult thing to educate everyone on. It's not as simple as, oh, that's 30%. It must be better than a 20% or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are even some scenarios where the higher percent of an ingredient you use, the less effective it gets. Because like something like glycolic acid, if you go higher, it actually takes down the pH of the formulation. You have to neutralize the formulation to get it back to a pH and you take the efficacy out of the glycolic. So definitely the higher the percentage, the better the ingredient is absolutely not true. It always depends on what you're doing, what you're working with, what the formulation is. So I would say just look out for that when you're looking at active ingredients and percentages. It's not like for like a lot of the time.
And quite frankly, we probably don't know as much as we think we do. So
yeah, like I find there's some amazing, there's some amazing websites out there like Inky Decoder that I think are amazing for the consumer to understand ingredients, but maybe also have it in your mind that there's a lot of nuances, there's a lot of complication, but it's great to have a good basic understanding, but there's a lot more going on.
So use it with caution. That's what I do. I like to just get a bit of a view of what something is. Not necessarily making any massive decisions about it. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't use that because it has this, particularly if we're talking about fragrance, for example. Alcohols and some things I would wonder more about.
Yeah.
But then again, those sort of things don't actually irritate my skin, so it's not really as
Yeah.
big an issue for me as it might be for other people. So you touched on it a little bit earlier, and it is one of the things that I wanted to mention because I know that there are essential oils used in these products. But I don't
Yeah.
want that to scare people because I know certainly in the Irish market, this is just completely taken off, right? I do see it everywhere. There's a lot of excitement about it. And I guess I'm kind of want to, even the people that are watching this video, these are products that I actually think that everybody should try. And I don't want people to be alarmed or be scared if they go to the Inky list and they see, essential oils.
Yeah.
And I guess that's sort of back to what you were saying. Don't automatically assume that they're going to be irritating. The way in which you formulate them with other things could quite soften them in a way that you might not have a negative impact. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And also the use of essential oils in skincare is highly regulated. Yes, there can be smaller brands out there, DIY brands that are not playing by the rules. And, you do need to be careful. But I would say if there's a cosmetic chemist involved, we know exactly what percentages we can use essential oils in. And we always go as low. We err with caution here. Like we go quite low. We look at what essential oils we're combining together. Are there sensitivity constituents? Are we overloading those constituents, or are we keeping them as minimal as possible? What kind of a base are we creating around it? Like something like the cleansing balm, for example, is a lovely oily, thick base that's going to take down the sensitivity levels as well. So yeah, absolutely. You don't need to be scared of something like essential oils if someone is formulating correctly. And, we're seeing on social media here in Ireland, for example, people using the cleansing balm to take off their makeup. It's very visual, with the blue color and removing the makeup. We see people going right in around their eyes, removing eye makeup and having absolutely no sensitivity problems or cloudiness sometimes you get in your eyes if you use the balm. Yeah, absolutely. It really is not causing any issues because, yeah, you're right. When it comes to fragrance and essential oil, it's about knowing what you're doing. It's about treating those ingredients with respect and keeping the percentages low and, building a formulation around it that can handle having fragrance or essential oil.
Okay. So right now we have 2 products in the range. May I ask, do you have things coming down the road that you can share with us that,
Yeah, absolutely. We have some really exciting things coming. Yeah, some very exciting things coming. We have a moisturizer coming towards the end of this year. A really lovely light gel cream type moisturizer with ceramides, 4D hyaluronic acid, a really great microbiome friendly ingredient as well in there. And again, really looking at sustainability as one of our pillars and we have a really great sustainability solution coming in terms of packaging. And then for next year, which I'm incredibly excited about, we have a retinoid product coming. And this is going to be something I think that people haven't seen before. How we've combined ingredients and the way we've structured the formulation, I think is going to be really exciting.
Oh, okay. My ears have perked up. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's exciting. There's lots of stuff happening behind the scenes. Now, I want to go back to something that we were talking about earlier. Let's talk about sustainability, because I do know it's at the core of your business. And it's a word that's being thrown around a lot. What does that mean to Doctrine Skincare? And what are you doing in this space? How are you committing to it as a brand?
Yeah. So sustainability is something that I am personally incredibly passionate about. I've been involved in environmental activism since I was a teenager. It's something that's really important to me. So when I was building the brand, I knew it was something that I really wanted to build in a really genuine way into the brand. But also I think that, a lot of the times the sustainable and the natural products, they look sustainable and natural. I wanted to make something that looked like luxury, but is also sustainable and also hits, all of those things. So for us, it's looking at our packaging. We've chosen glass because it is made from recycled material and it is infinitely recyclable. Yep. But we've chosen really beautiful, luxurious black glass. I mean, it looks gorgeous, I think. The outer packaging is the outer packaging is completely compostable. You can rip it up and throw it into your compost bin. We just cut out. Yeah, it is totally compostable. Yeah. So into your brown bin or whatever your version of the compost bin is in your home, which is great. And we really try and cut out unnecessary packaging when possible. So when people buy from us, we don't add in like comp notes and flyers and little sachets. We're really about, look, it's the product presented really well, wrapped so it's safe, but not lots of add-ons, because we need to stop generating waste. And I think for me, one of the most exciting areas we're looking at is biotech ingredients. So I love natural ingredients. I love plants. I've also have a degree in herbal science. Absolutely love anything to do with plant materials. But the sustainability really isn't there at the moment around harvesting acres and acres of plant material, processing it, all the work that goes into it to make ingredients for us to use in skincare. I mean, our resources are really, under a lot of stress and pressure at the moment in the world. So there's a new area in the industry called biotech ingredients, where ingredients are created in labs through like fermentation techniques. They're bioidentical. They're exactly like what you get from plant material, but they're made using fermentation techniques in the labs. They are natural. It's just they're not putting a lot of stress and pressure on our precious resources. So I think that's a really interesting area for the industry. And it's something I see that is just really growing as well within the cosmetic industry.
Oh, that's so fascinating. Can't wait to hear more about that now.
Yeah.
You worked at the Skin Trust Club, right? And so much of that is about understanding our own personal microbiome, that system on our face of microbes and whatnot. Are you testing your products? Are these microbiome friendly products?
We haven't done the microbiome certification testing, but absolutely I am formulating products in a way that they will be microbiome friendly when we do go forward for the testing. What we have been doing in terms of testing is we've worked with a company here called Shannon Applied Biotechnology Center, and we've done some in vitro testing, testing our product against market leaders for things like how it affects collagen in the skin, how it works as an antioxidant, and we've had amazing results back from our Radiant C Serum. But we will be pushing ahead with microbiome testing because I think that's an area that unfortunately the market's not quite there yet. I don't think people understand it as a concept enough, but I think it's one of those things that we're going to keep hearing about because it is really important. And I think a lot of skincare products have been overly active, maybe overly harsh. We've been doing too many things to our skin. I mean, we all fell in love with acids there for a couple of years, and we all, really went to town on our skin barrier. And I think that's definitely something that is going to come around in the industry. But I feel that it's still early days and people don't quite understand it to the level yet.
No, and it's something that really hit home for me because I did overstimulate and I got my skin into trouble. That's the hazards of having a channel like this where I tinker a lot. And I really did a number on my skin. And Skin Trust Club is what enabled me to understand more about my skin.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that we need to find ways to get access to that information so more people know about it, because it enables you to make decisions and to back off, Jack, if you're overdoing it. And like, it's such a complex system that people don't think about. They don't really think about what's the microorganisms that are actually living on our skin, and you got to feed them the right stuff.
So there is an ingredient that I'm looking at putting into our moisturizer called Photobiome. It's about the materials working with your microbiome to work on UV protection for your skin. Now, it's not in place of SPF, but it's something that can really boost the UV protection on your skin. So I suppose in terms of ingredients as well and how they interact with the microbiome, there's so much going on. I think it is going to become a bigger area in skincare, but we're getting there.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. And as you said, it's just such an advancing area, isn't it? Just as you said, we're looking at, different ways of producing ingredients, and there's just something new that's happening all the time. I think it's quite exciting. I don't have any kind of degree. I'm just a regular person over here that enjoys learning about it and seeing where things are going, right?
It's such an interesting industry. I mean, sometimes people will say, oh, you work in beauty. That's a bit frivolous. And I'm like, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to ingredients and like research and tools and all the things that are going on. It's an incredible, innovative industry to be in. It's fascinating.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of your day job. So I suspect a lot of my viewers actually are US based, right? I'm an American.
Yeah.
Abroad. See how that'll happen. So I suspect there are quite a few people out there going, can I get this now? Because right now it's sold in Ireland. And I think it's important to let folks know outside of our fine little island surrounded by water, that you guys ship worldwide.
We do, right? Absolutely. Yeah. We ship to the States. We've taken orders from the States. Absolutely delighted to ship out orders. We have a discount code running with you, Mary. It's SOM, and that gives 15% off an order. If orders are over $90, there's free shipping. So, and if orders are under $90, it's $12 shipping. So, and absolutely, we ship to the US, and delighted to get orders, and
Wonderful.
we'll ship out next day after receiving an order. So yeah.
Oh, that's great news. So I really can't emphasize how much I love these products.
Thank you. Oh,
And
I'm
I was
so
so
delighted to
excited
hear
when I
that.
heard you were doing this, you're creating your own brand. Because like I said, you and I've had a few chats and I've really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And you've made some really spectacular products here. So guys, viewers, you should check it out. And the price point for these, if you can help me on that. How much is our cleansing balm?
Yeah. So the cleansing balm is 42 euros. We'll have to do a currency conversion there for your US listeners. And the vitamin C serum is 54 euros.
Okay, great. Perfect. Worth every freaking penny.
Thank you.
That's all I got to say. So what I will be doing is have a link to all these products down below. I use them every single day. I have used them every single day. I'm getting near at the end. I have a few more here. Yay. And I will continue to use. They've just so seamlessly entered and I just love using them. And for me, that is honestly half of the battle. The choice and the selection is what is the stuff that really brings me joy, that makes my heart smile when I use it.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
Tracey, thank you so much for joining today. I really enjoyed seeing you yet again. And guys, if you have any questions for Tracey, if you have any questions about Doctrine Skincare, I will have links to everything down below. I will also have my discount code and a link to the website. You can check them out yourself. Any questions, ask. And if I don't know the answer, which I probably don't, I will be asking Tracey and I'm sure we can come back to you.
Perfect.
So Tracey, thanks a million for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Great. Okay, guys, I'll see you at the next video. Thanks.